Throughout the 2025 season, Hamilton has delivered a frustrating radio message. On every long straight, his Ferrari is losing ground to Mercedes. This speed trace graph reveals exactly what that radio traffic means in raw numbers. At maximum velocity, the SF26 bleeds anywhere from 3 to 4/10ths of a second per lap to the class leaders. That is pure time lost on acceleration. Yet, as Formula One emerges from its summer shutdown, Ferrari's priority is not a faster engine. Instead, they are rushing an aerodynamic floor upgrade to the grid. They are bringing it to Zandvoort. As a short, compact circuit cut through coastal dunes, it features steep banking and demands immense mechanical grip. Top-end speed is secondary to how much load the car can sustain through these sweeping corners. Ferrari is deploying a sequence of hardware upgrades designed so that each new part amplifies the performance of the one that follows it. The plan rolls out across 3 distinct race weekends: a revised aerodynamic floor at Zandvoort, a power unit rebuild for Monza, and a traction package for Austin. The stakes are reflected in the current standings. With 11 races remaining, Hamilton sits 50 points behind Kimi Antonelli. Rather than a reactive swing at a single weakness, this strategy utilizes engineering simulations to systematically reduce the lap time deficit until the SF26 can contend for pole positions across the remaining diverse circuit layouts. The origin of this new floor sits in the telemetry data gathered from 2 contrasting circuits right before the summer break. The first is the Red Bull Ring in Austria. It's a short, punchy track characterized by steep elevation changes and a requirement for explosive traction out of low-speed hairpins. The second is Silverstone. The British Grand Prix layout is fast and demands that the car sustain an aerodynamic load across long, high-speed cornering sequences. Comparing the telemetry from these 2 tracks proved the SF26 lacked the ability to generate consistent load as cornering velocities changed. The car was quick in isolation, but lost time during the transitions. To solve this, Ferrari returned to the design concept that handed Hamilton his first win in red earlier this season in Barcelona. The Zandvoort floor is a direct, sharpened evolution of that specific package. This cross-section shows how the floor dictates performance. Air rushes under the chassis, funneling through carbon channels and accelerating toward the rear. This acceleration creates a low-pressure zone, pulling the car to the asphalt with a force wings alone couldn't replicate. While wind tunnels can produce high peak downforce numbers, the actual challenge is maintaining that constant aerodynamic load on a violently bumpy track while the car pitches and rolls. Consistent aerodynamic load creates a vital sense of predictability. When the car reacts the same way in every corner, a driver can commit to their braking point earlier and apply the throttle with more aggression at the apex. This was an unplanned development project that the technical team designed and manufactured in a matter of weeks, ensuring the parts were finished before the mandatory summer factory shutdown. This floor provides the stable platform required for the driver to stop managing the car's instability and start attacking the track. It is the foundation for the speed that arrives next. Once that cornering stability is secured at Zandvoort, the sequence moves to the 3 to 4/10ths deficit on the straightaways. There is a common misconception that this deficit is caused by aerodynamic drag. Instead, the problem is an engineered powertrain flaw rooted in an early development decision. Ferrari originally built their power unit around a smaller turbocharger. A compact internal impeller spools up rapidly, which was designed to give the SF26 a massive advantage during the standing start of a race. However, the FIA later introduced a 5-second wait procedure between the cars lining up and the red lights going out. That rule change neutralized the small turbo's launch advantage. Ferrari was left with a 4% power deficit compared to the Red Bull Ford benchmark, and a turbocharger that couldn't provide enough top-end power. Because Ferrari fell more than 2% behind the benchmark engine, they were granted development tokens through the FIA's ADU, or Additional Development and Upgrade System. Ferrari is spending their second token to alter the turbocharger's physical architecture. This mechanical cutaway shows the new larger impeller and reworked internal vane angles. The larger housing pulls more air in at high RPMs, translating to a gain of 15 horsepower. That gain is roughly 0.2 of a second per lap. Ferrari is debuting this update at Monza, the most power-dependent circuit on the calendar. This rebuild corrects the deficit created by the FIA rule change. But extra power is only useful if it can be effectively transferred to the tarmac. The final step of the master plan arrives at the United States Grand Prix in Austin this October. With aerodynamics improved and engine power recovered, the focus shifts to rear-end stability. The goal is to ensure the car can put its power down cleanly out of low-speed corners without losing any traction. The suspension geometry is being tuned to help the tires grip the asphalt without spinning, maximizing the acceleration provided by the new Monza engine. By addressing traction last, Ferrari completes the hardware sequence and eliminates the final exploitable weakness in the SF26. Engineers distinguish between additive upgrades, fixing isolated flaws, and compounding upgrades that enhance existing components. This chart shows the math behind Ferrari's approach. A car that carries more speed through a corner enters the straight faster. That higher entry speed multiplies the benefit of the extra horsepower, which is then put to the ground by the traction package. Each gain amplifies the one before it. While Ferrari rolls out this methodical sequence, Mercedes is facing a significant regulatory crisis. Both George Russell and Kimi Antonelli have already used their full season allocation of 4 power units. To match Ferrari's engine update at Monza, Mercedes would have to introduce a 5th unit, triggering a 20-place grid penalty. They must choose between running an older specification or starting from the back of the pack. Lewis Hamilton's physical preparation over the summer, focusing on core strength and anti-rotation training, suggests he is preparing for a car that will be significantly more physically demanding in the second half of the season. The factory in Maranello has remained entirely silent about this 3-step operation, following their standard protocol for sensitive technical developments. By fast-tracking hardware through the summer and timing the engine debut to coincide with rival penalties, Ferrari has positioned itself to attack the 50-point championship gap. With the hardware finalized, the outcome now depends on whether the simulations translate to the asphalt at Zandvoort.